Hello again. Welcome to video lecture 6, last one of our second module. So it feels weird, but after this video lecture, you're a third of the way done with the class. So that's pretty wild. But to kick off video lecture 6, we're going to cover two topics today. But before we get to that, I wanted to share a tip on test taking and anxiety managing while you're in those environments, but also just in general. So this is something a lot of people struggle with, especially in the math classroom. And hopefully the environment that you're in is helping you navigate that some. But to just put forth a couple of specific recommendations, the best thing that you can do in these environments is to be prepared, right? Like if you are confident that you have prepared, not that you've crammed at the last second, right? Like that can't be the thing. So my tip a couple of video lectures ago is to not constantly, but to be regularly within your routine, right? Ensuring that you're understanding, ensuring that you're reviewing and stuff like that. That's going to help you feel prepared in those moments. So that's the most important thing that you can do. My other tip is I would like for you to develop a positive test taking ritual that works for you. And these can be different for everybody. Some examples are some people like to take a short walk beforehand before they walk in to take that exam. Listening to your favorite music right before the exam. I share with uh, lots of classes previously that when I was in my undergrad, I listened to the same album every time right before I went into the exam. Just helped me get into a specific space. Um, if you're a person that likes writing, give yourself a journal prompt right before you go to take an exam. Maybe you're writing about your proudest moment. Just write a little bit about that, get into that good mindset going in. Additionally, in the moment, maybe you need to make sure that you're engaging in some breathing exercises, not to get yourself overwhelmed. All of these things work to increase your confidence, your attitude, and your concentration in those moments. All right. If there's anything that you're struggling with, never hesitate to reach out to your instructor or myself. All right, so first thing we're going to talk about in video lecture 6, content-wise, is solving linear inequalities. So you're going to be looking for solving linear inequalities within your ALEX topics for this one, all right? These are going to take several forms. What I really want to reiterate is like the goal, right, is to solve. So we're trying to get the variable by itself. It's solved just so similar to an equation, main difference being instead of x equals 5, right, a single number works. We're looking for a range of numbers that work. So maybe x is greater than 5. So any number greater than 5 works for us, all right? So it's a range of numbers rather than a single number. All right, so we're going to continue to use our properties of equality that we've been leaning upon. Just a couple quick examples here. If you were given the inequality x plus 3 is greater than or equal to 7, right? Something plus 3 arrives at a number that is greater than or equal to 7. If I asked everybody to come up with a number, you could all come up with different numbers because a ton of what numbers work for this. We're going to solve for x, getting it by itself. We're subtracting by 3. So we would arrive at x is greater than or equal to 4. So any number greater than or equal to 4 would make this thing true. In here, you may be asked to make a number line for some of your problems as well. So for that number line, just making sure that you got a 4 on there because that's our number of interest. You're either going to have to put an open or closed circle on that thing. For this one, since it's equal to, greater than or equal to, you'd be closing this in. And then you want numbers that are greater than. So those would be to the right. All right. Let's do a couple more like that. So if I had one that was 5 halves is greater than 2x. All right, using our skills from solving equations, right? We want to get this 2. This 2 needs to move. We would divide by 2. The thing on the other side is a fraction, though. So instead of dividing by 2, you may want to see yourself as multiplying by 1/2. Multiplying by 1/2, right? 2 1/2. 2 times 1/2 equals 1. So we get x. We're going to write it on that right side. With an inequality, we got to make sure that we're keeping the inequality facing the right way. And then on the left side, we've got 5 times 1, and we've got 2 times 2, 4. It is, you can type this into Alex in this manner, but it becomes difficult to read. So I would really encourage you to rewrite this. And to rewrite it, you want to just mirror everything. You want to turn everything around. So we like the x to be, the variable to be written on the left. And if I'm going to do that, the sign needs to face away from the x, less than, right? X is less than 5/4. If you were going to graph this, this one should end up with an open circle. I'm going to skip that for now just to stay under time a little bit. Okay. All right, I've got a couple more to get through here. 6 is greater than or equal to x divided by -2. All right, looking at this one, right? The thing that needs to move is this -2. It's dividing currently, so we're going to multiply both sides by -2. All right, on the right side, we have the -2 and the other -2 multiplying and dividing, so those kind of cancel each other out. We got our x on the right side. On the left side, we have -2 times 6, we get -12. One thing very specific to remember about inequalities is that if you multiply or divide by a negative, we need to flip the inequality sign. So with the way it was originally, it's facing away from the x. We need it to be facing towards the x. Right? And again, we can rewrite it. This needs to be x is greater than or equal to -12. Please make sure that you write this in your column 2 of your notes, section 2 of your notes. All right, 2 more quick ones. Just want to expose you to a few different types of problems that you're going to see. So 5x divided by 2 plus 3 is less than 10. We got a few things to move, right? We got a 5, we got a 2, we got a 3. Just taking them as we would an equation. If this was an equal sign, we're solving the same way here. We're going to subtract 3. We get 5x over 2 is less than 7. You can do this as you would like. I am going to look at this fraction separately, actually. I want to say I'm just going to multiply by 2. I'm going to cancel that out. I'm going to multiply this right side by 2. So I get 5x is less than 14. And then I've just got one little step left. I'm going to divide both sides by 5. So I end with x is less than 14/5. Right, in this last step, I'm dividing by +5. There's no need for me to flip the inequality sign, only if I was dividing by -5 in that case. All right, one last one here. I've got 20 minus 3x is greater than or equal to 1 minus 2x. Solve it how you would an equation. Maybe try this one out yourself and then come back. We just need to get the variables together. They're on both sides. With inequalities in particular, I like to avoid negatives. So I'm going to take this positive, I'm going to add 3x to both sides. So I end up with positive coefficient in front of my x's. So I've got 20. It's greater than or equal to 1 plus x. And last step here, this one happened quickly. Subtract 1 from both sides, end up with 19 is greater than or equal to x. We like to read that variable first, so we're going to mirror image this thing. We're going to do x is less than or equal to 19. That's a good final answer there. All right. Make sure that you're filling in section 2 and 3 in your notes. Bring any questions that you have in class. See you next time.